must go through the trial. The test is not for him, it's for you. He's trying to build you. He's trying to reward you. But he can't justify rewarding you for no reason. And he can't build you without a test. Now, when you first start working out, if you exercise, as you guys can see, I'm very muscular. When I was young, I used to work out. In the beginning, you could barely lift a pencil. Pencil is a little heavy. After a while, pencil is not heavy. You lift a box. Empty one, though. Then you lift a shoe, and eventually you lift a weight, and eventually you can lift a house, and so on and so forth. But at one point, I got to a point where I was squatting an enormous amount of weight. Literally, it was like squatting a house. But it got to a point where just to get warmed up, this is in my college days, I was very, very strong. And just to warm up, I used to squat 400 pounds. To warm up. Meaning to get started, just to like if you're just stretching, I had to lift 400 pounds on my back and go up and down like 20 times just to get going. So eventually I go up to the, half a house that I was lifting at the time. And people would always ask me, it's like, why don't you just do less? Or why don't you just stay at that level? I mean, it's already a lot. It's already a lot, 400 pounds. Most people can't lift 200. You're already doing 400. It's unbelievable. The bar was bending at the end. By the time I was finished the workout, the bar itself was bending. I said, why even bother? Just do what you're doing in the beginning. It's already a lot. It's more than everybody here already. What, are you showing off? I said, no, it has nothing to do with showing off. I wish I could do it at the house. I don't have to go to the gym. Save myself the time. So what's the point? I said, the only way it affects my body is if I keep adding more. It got to the point where you get strong enough that the old weight, the old test, no longer affects you. If I just lifted 100 pounds, yes, it may be heavy for you. It's extremely heavy for me today. The pencil, I'm back to the pencil now. Baruch Hashem. Back to pencil. Back to the pencil. It's heavy. The pencil is heavy for me today. Today, hopefully I can lift the pencil. That's why I only have Post-it, no pencils. Today, it's the pencil. But then, it got to a point where the pencil is not doing anything. And the 100 pounds is not doing anything. And the 200 pounds is not doing anything. And it's just not doing anything. Why bother? It had to be a lot of weight in order for it to affect the body. In order for it to rip the muscles, in order for them to grow. You know, when you work out, you actually have to rip your muscles apart. It's actually, if you look at what happens under your skin, it's horrific. But it's healthy. You build your muscles. Anyway, the point is that the 200 pounds didn't affect, the 300 pounds didn't affect, the 400 pounds didn't affect, and so on and so forth. The same thing goes, Rabotai, with your neshama. When Hashem gave you a test when you were still young, either young in age or young in tshuva, your test was going to Beit Knesset. Not even going to Beit Knesset every day, not even going to Beit Knesset at 6 a.m., but just going to the Beit Knesset once. That was the test. Hashem said, above this, he can't do. But he can't do more. I can. If I send him an email, say, hey, by the way, Betzalel, you must show up every day at 6 a.m. Betzalel says, I quit. He can't handle it. It's every day. I'm not even going yet. You want me to go every day at 6 a.m.? I'm sleeping at 6 a.m. At 6 a.m., I'm having my third dream. What do you want for my life at 6 a.m.? It's only my third. If I was at my sixth dream, then maybe. I'm only my third dream. It's just started. Leave me alone at 6 a.m. In the beginning, just go to the Beit Knesset. That's the test. You grew up a little bit. You realize going to Beit Knesset once a year is not enough. You got to go every day. Okay, I'm going at 10 when no one else is there. Fine. Hashem says, just go. A little more time passes. Okay, you got to go a little earlier. The Beit Knesset test doesn't work anymore. Okay, now you got to learn a half hour after Beit Knesset. If I told Beit Hillel, really, you have to learn an hour and a half to 2 hours after Beit Knesset, Beit Hillel says, oh, I quit. I'm going back to the Beit Knesset once a week. I quit. Hashem says, no, I'm not going to give you that test. Half hour once a week. Half hour once a week. Rabotai, the same exact thing goes with every single one of your tests in your life. In the beginning, the biggest test was for you to do Shema Yisrael. Then it was for you to actually understand what it means. Then it was for you to apply it in a situation of danger. Something happened in life and you had to remember, my only hope is Hashem. My only hope is the Shema Yisrael I've been practicing for 2 years. Shem Hashem, something happened, my only hope is not my money, not my intellect, not my friends, not my family, nothing. My only hope is Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. I've been saying Shema Yisrael for years. Now I know what it means. Now I can use it. Now it's game time. Now it's game time. But he can't tell you day one you need to know what Shema Yisrael really means. Why? I quit. I can't make it. It's too heavy. Pencil. Give me the pencil. It's too heavy. Hashem gives you tests. In the beginning, they're small. And then they get bigger. And then they get bigger. And then they get bigger. And they get bigger. And you know when they end? When your body ends. When your body in this world ends and you now transfer to Olam HaEmet. When your soul leaves your body and you go to Olam HaEmet. So for all of you that are just praying to Hashem, Hashem, no more tests, all you're doing is praying to die. No more tests, Hashem. Okay, die then. If you are alive, you're going to have tests. If you're alive, you're going to have tests. And the tests will get bigger. That's a guarantee. For your money back. Go to Hashem, ask him, he gives you full refund. But you have to go up there. You can't stay here with Hashem. We don't give refunds. So the point is, Rabotai, is that all of these prayers, oh, I need easy tshuva, I need no more tests, I need no more trials and tribulations, no more money issues, no more this issue, no more that issue, no more this. No. You're praying to die. If you're alive, you will have tests. Now, what's the secret? How do you pass these tests? The test is so difficult. Just thinking about the tests that I endured in my past, I want to cry. Some of the things I experienced in my life, and I'm sure some of the experience you guys are experiencing now or in your life, you just think about them, you want to cry. And this is actually l'avdil for a revival at Tzaddikim one day, but they say that at the times of the Mashiach, Hashem is going to show the Tzaddikim a huge mountain. And the Reshaim, a small mountain, small little hill. And both are going to cry. Both are going to cry. At Tzaddikim, if you look at the big mountain, look at this mountain. What is this mountain made up? It's made up of all of the tests they had in their life. Look, in the beginning it was I lost my keys. And then after that was I lost my car. And then after that I lost some money. And then after that, and the tests get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I stayed true to Hashem. Look how much look at this huge mountain. Look how much I accomplished. It was so hard. But now I'm here. And they're going to cry from reliving all of the difficulty, but yet the cry is of happiness, that it's behind them. The Reshaim, on the other hand, they have a small little mountain, a small little hill that you can just walk over. Why is it a small little hill? Hashem says, look, I give you a small little test, and you weren't even willing to pass that. If you would have just passed this one small test, you'd also have Olam Haba. They also cry. What do they cry about? Look how close I was to having Olam Haba, but now I don't. So I think sometimes about the past and all the pain and all the suffering and all. It's hard. It's hard. But Rabotai, as long as you are still alive, you're going to have bigger tests. The tests today are preparing you for the tests tomorrow. Now, what can give you hope from this dire news that you just got now? This sounds like a horrible, horrible thing. It's not. It's actually good news. Why is it good news? Why should it be the best news you found out in your entire life? You learn from Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu, Rabotai, when Hashem told him, listen, kill your son. Hashem, he understood from Hashem, kill your son. He went and tried killing his son. Hashem said, I'm going to reward you to your son. He said, I'm going to reward my son. No problem. Whatever he said, I do. Whatever I said, I do. Whatever he said, I do. Whatever he said, I do. No questions asked. He kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going. How do you have such emunah? How do you get to such emunah? How? How do you get to a point Hashem says this, you do this? You don't ask any questions even though it contradicts itself. The Chidush Rabotai is that when you understand that it came from God, there's no test. There's no test. Why? It's from God. What is it like? All of you that went to school, you know there's two types of tests. There's a test that you're guaranteed to pass because it's open book. And there's a test that only if you studied you're going to pass, closed book. When a teacher tells you, listen, you have a test, you have an unlimited amount of time to pass this test. You have 100 questions to answer. All of the questions and the answers are in this book. And you can use the book to take the test for as much time as you'd like. Begin. Is that really a test? Or just a mental exercise? Why? Because he just gave you the answers. All you got to do is just look for them. Okay, it's page 13. Okay, page 17. Okay, page 18. All you're doing is just copying and pasting. All it is a mental exercise. Why? It's an open book test. If it's a closed book test, only if you studied it, only if you've prepared for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, depending on the test. Only if you've prepared are you going to pass. But even if you've prepared, sometimes you didn't prepare enough. That's the difference of whether you have emunah or not. If you have emunah, it's an open book test, regardless of the test. If you don't have emunah, it's a closed book test. You may not pass. You may not pass. If you have emunah, meaning you know this is from God, no one else. This is from God. It's unusual. It doesn't make sense. It contradicts everything that I know. It goes against everything that I know. It hurts. It this. It that. All the different things. All the different excuses. All the different issues. Bottom line, is it from God or not? If it's from God, it's an open book test. If you understand logically that it's from God, it's an open book test. Why? It's going to be okay. He's not going to get me a test I can't pass. There's no point. He's not going to give me a test that I cannot pass. There's no point. It's like a mother telling her son, listen, honey, I know you're only 3 years old, but can you do me a favor? Can you pick up the semi-trailer over your head? She's just not going to ask the 3-year-old to do it. Why? She knows he can't do it. There's no point of asking. Only a psychopath will do such a thing. By thinking that Hashem gave you a test you cannot pass, chas v'shalom, you're thinking that Hashem is crazy. If He gave it to you, that means you can pass it. The only difference is how you treat the test. Open book or closed book. If you've trained your emunah, if you've trained yourself to have emunah at a time of need, it's an open book test. If not, you may not pass it because it's a closed book. You had to study a lot. You had to study a lot.